Welcome back. The ever ebullient, is that the right word? Ebullient for Mitch Carmichael? Ebullient?
Ebullient.
Ebullient? Yeah,
I like that,
Ebullient.
I think.
Here we are all going, what are we doing? What's going to happen? The thing's flaming out. It's burning down. And Carmichael's, hey, it's all smooth. It's all good.
We got this.
You got this. Okay, you got this by you're going to advance your budget, which cuts $50 million from higher ed. I know you don't like the word cut, but if they're going to spend less than they are this year, it's a cut. But anyway, $50 million from higher ed, $48 million from DHHR. Can you defend those cuts?
Oh, absolutely. Look, here's the scenario that West Virginia's confronted with. Let me just say, we delivered what we said we would do. In fact, what we delivered from the Finance Committee is the campaign promise that Governor Justice ran on. We're going to live within our means. We can't afford more taxes in West Virginia. What we did in the Senate is we delivered on that promise. But likewise, we held a press conference. We said we're going to live within our means. And this is, what's so ironic about this, or is sort of like you take a step back and say, where are we in America that when a state Senate votes to live within your means, that it's monumental news? And that's where we're at. Can I defend those cuts? Absolutely.
Okay. The House version of the budget, with the Republican majority, includes $100 and some million in revenue increases and not as deep a cuts. Governor Justice says, that the veto pin is waiting if your all's version of the budget gets down to him. So play this out. How does this go out? Let's say that your all's version of the budget does in fact become the legislature's budget or something similar to that. A veto is coming, right?
That's what he says. I guess that's what he says, is that he's going to veto a budget that lives within our means. I think it's unfortunate, but that may be his position.
Where do you go from there?
Well, if he's the governor of West Virginia, we'll have to make adjustments to the budget to, accommodate his desire to, increase spending and increase taxes on the state of West Virginia, because unlike him, we are unwilling to shut the state of West Virginia down to make a political point. But what I want to, if I can, may go back to just defending these cuts, because I know you're going to have people calling in and maybe, presidents of universities or whatever saying, oh my God, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. Let's put it in context. What we are asking the DHHR to do is absorb a less than 4% cut. 4%, Hoppy. And so should the citizens of West Virginia, many of our families, many of our businesses live with much more deeper cuts than a 4% cut. So that's just the contextual analysis of it. You can call it whatever you want. You can put millions of dollars around it. It's less than 4%, 3.68%. With regard to higher education, it's a 15% across the board cut to the state aid for those institutions. Now, you can say the sky is falling because 15% is cut from the state aid to those institutions, but let's just put that in context also. In terms of West Virginia University's budget, or Marshall University's, or any of these colleges and universities, we're talking around a 4 to 5% total cut in their budgets. 4 to 5% is what this cut from the state aid represents. So come on, in these difficult times when the coal industry's been yanked out from underneath us by the federal administration, our economy's in decline, we can't ask these institutions to live with a 4% cut.
They will say, I just said Dr. Guillon, that they have been cutting, that they have been reducing their spending, and they have done their part.
Listen,
and now that the taxpayers need to do a little bit of their part. Well, that's what they're saying.
Last year, the citizens of West Virginia kicked in an extra $100 million.
If you smoke.
But the revenue to the state of West Virginia went up $100 million because of the tax that we put in place. Now, what I'm saying, we have kicked this can down the road for too long, and I love President Gee. I think he does an amazing job of running that organization, that institution. We provided in these cuts, that you want to call them cuts, we also provided the flexibility for all these institutions to manage themselves more effectively, to get more for the dollars that they are allocated. And let me just say, we talk about a 4% cut. From what we did last year, they're getting 96% of what they got last year, the DHHR. In higher ed, you're getting 85% of what you got last year.
Are you willing to, Senate President Mitch Carmichael's with us, are you willing to, because you've been on the show numerous times during the session, and you've, no offense, but you've held the line on say, we're going to spend what we are projected to take in. Are you willing to risk a shutdown of state government to hold to what you all have done, hold to that promise?
Well, I think that is a ridiculous outcome to shut down state government because a legislature wants to live within your means. That will be the governor's choice. We definitely want to live within our means, and I hope that the people of West Virginia weigh in on this issue instead of, the governor will say the patient's dying because we cut this budget 4%, or we cut this one a total aggregate of 3%. I mean, that hyperbole that he uses is ridiculous, and frankly. And so I hope the people of West Virginia weigh in on this issue. We'll be sensitive to those needs. I don't want to shut this government down by any means, shape, or form. We provide vital services to the people of West Virginia, but what we're asking, and I hope you and the media and all the people engage the public in this debate, should we live within our means, or should we raise taxes again on the poorest people in America?
Senator Mitch Carmichael's with us, the Senate President, Republican, Jackson County. Okay, yesterday, an extended debate on medicinal marijuana. They ended up with a strike and insert amendment from John Schott, who's chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, which is different from the Senate version of the bill. And this new version of the bill says you can't smoke medicinal marijuana. You cannot have plants. You can't grow marijuana plants. You could take it in pill form or salve form or even drops under your tongue or something like that. So this bill now comes back to the Senate. If it passes the House stage, on third reading, if it passes the House stage, will the Senate accept that as is and just pass it and send it to the governor, or will you all make changes?
It'll be my position to accept those changes. And absent something that I'm completely unaware of, I would accept those changes because, and I know the House didn't want to deal with that issue. I understand that. But what I would say, in the broader context is, as legislators, as policymakers, we should not stand in the way of someone relieving pain and suffering. If we can alleviate the pain and suffering with the use of a product, a naturally growing product, then who are we as legislators to stand in the way of someone relieving themselves from the pain and anguish?
So strategic, or technically though, you're not going to make changes, or you don't anticipate changes in the Senate if it passes House, because then it has to go back and it has to go to committee and things can happen. So you think the approach will be, or you're the president, or we accept as is, sign off on it, send it to the governor?
As I say, without having seen every component of that, that's my expectation, that we would accept those and send it to the governor.
Okay. Senate President Mitch Carmichael, always good to see you.
Hey, I always answer straight up.
The ebullient Mitch Carmichael.
It's great to be with you.
I was here all depressed, oh my gosh. And Carmichael comes in, he's all happy.
It's going to be good.
All excited, all feeling good. I'm like, what are you talking about? Things are collapsing around us. All right, Mitch, good to see you.
Love you, man.
Thank you. Love you, man. Love you, man. We'll be back. More to come. He's spreading the love.